Python Software Foundation, right? Today I discuss up something about Python Software Foundation. You need to know something about PSF, Python Software. Yes. It is a non-profit organization. It is a non-profit organization, right? Devoted towards Python community. Non-profit organization devoted towards Python community, right? Yes. It was launched in the year 2001. The main objective of this Python Software Foundation, the main objective is to faster the development, right? To faster the development. To faster the development of Python. In the year 2005, in the year 2005, Python Software PSF received Computer World Horizon Award, right? Computer World Horizon Award. The president, right? Guru Van Rossum. Headquarters. Delaware, US. Official website. Python.org. Official website python.org is the official website from where we can download Python, from where we are going to install Python, right? Yes. Okay. Non-profit organization devoted towards the Python community. It was launched in the year 2001. The main objective, yes, to foster the development of Python. In the year 2005, it received Computer World Horizon Award. The president, Guido van Rossum, the same personality who developed Python, headquarters Delaware, US, official website python.org. Before I go with the Python installation, you need to know something about the Python versions. Yes, Python versions, right? Yes. Python 1.x version, Python 1.x, right? It was released in the year 1989. Python 2.x, Python 2.x version, it was released in the year 2000. Python 3.x version, Python 3.x version, it was released in the year 2008. The version what we are using currently is 3 version. Latest version of Python, latest version of Python. Latest version of Python, right? Yes. Python 3.12, right? 3.12 is the latest version. Yes. Stable version of Python, stable version of Python. Stable version of Python, nothing but Python 3.10. 3.10 means a stable version is nothing but mostly used version. Mostly used version, right? Yes. stable version of Python 3.10, right? So this is regarding, so the version what we are going to install, right? Python 3.12, latest version, right? Python 3.12, we are going to download and install, right? So Python installation. Yes. So before I go with the installation, so go to this settings, apps. First, let me apps and features. See this Python, right? Yes. Python 3.12, uninstall it. Uninstall it. Yes, I'll be showing you all this from the scratch, how to download and how to install this Python. Yes. So Python provides different softwares for different environments. For Windows, Linux, Mac OS. For Linux, no need of any special installation for this Linux environment. So Python comes as an inbuilt within this Linux operating system. No need of any separate installation for it. So whatever Linux flavor you are using, Red Hat Linux, CentOS or Ubuntu, Python comes as inbuilt. But for Windows and Mac OS, we need to download and we need to install. Again, in Windows, Python provides two softwares. For Windows 32-bit, a separate software. For Windows 64-bit, a separate software. How will you check whether your Windows is a 32-bit or 64-bit? Right click on your, like on this, just click this File Explorer, right. Properties. Can you see here 64-bit operating system? 64-bit operating system, right? Yes. So this uninstallation was successful. Just now coming to this installation, just open Chrome browser, right? Open Google Chrome, right? Here you can say what is the official website of Python. Python.org, python.org, right? Official website from where we can download Python. Python.org is the official website from where we can download Python. So go to the downloads folder, right? All releases. Go to downloads, all releases. And scroll down, right? Don't go for active Python releases, just go for looking for a specific release. Looking for a specific release, right? Yes. Looking for a specific release. See what all the versions we see from the last 20 years. All those are available here. From June 22, 2001 onwards, what all the versions released. All those versions are available here. 3.12, the latest version, released on October 2nd, 2023, almost 2 months ago, right? Yes. Just click this Python 3.12, right? Python 3.12, right? Python 3.12. Okay, scroll down to the bottom. Yes. Go to the downloads, go to python.org, python.org website, go to the downloads folder. Within the downloads folder, go with looking for a specific release, select 3.12 version. Yes, select 3.12 version, right? Here, if you go to Python 3.12, go to the bottom of the page. Go to the bottom of the page. It will show Windows installer 32-bit, Windows installer 64-bit, 32 and 64, two it shows. If your Windows is a 32, okay, Windows installer, if your Windows is a 64-bit, download 64-bit. If it is 32-bit, now I hope everyone, if you are using Windows 10, 11, but if you're using older versions like Windows 7, Windows 8, select this Windows installer 64-bit, your download is going to start. Just check this download, right? Python downloading 25 MB of size. Just the size is 25 MB. Just download is completed. Once download is completed, go to this. Click that exe file. Click that exe file. You will get this window. Yes, go to the python.org and go to the downloads folder and download Python 3.12. Here, don't immediately go for installation. At the bottom, add Python to path. Select it. Select add Python to path. Adding Python to path variable of OS. Go for customize installation. Go for what? Customize installation. Documentation, pip all this, right? Say next. Here also nothing to select. Everything are pre-selected. So just observe. Where it is getting installed, the location, right? Where it is installed. In C, users, Dell, app data, local, programs, Python, 312. Somewhere it is getting installed in some subdirectories. Yes. Tomorrow, if you want to locate Python, so it is in the multiple subdirectories. Yes. So remove all this big path. Just install in the C drive. C/Python 312. So Python 312 folder will be created automatically and Python will be installed into that folder within the C drive. Now just say install, hardly it takes 30 seconds to install Python. Almost done with the installation. So once it is completed, let us check whether it is properly installed or not. All right. Along with this, right, we will also going to get a documentation, Python documentation. So what are the things which has got removed in the current version? What are the things, what are the new features you got? Everything you can check in the documentation, Python documentation, right? Yes. Setup was successful. Just say close. Yes. Now, at the bottom search panel, now let us check whether it is properly installed or not. Let us check whether Python is properly installed or not. In the bottom search panel, type cmd and go to the command prompt, right? Go to the command prompt by typing cmd, right? And type Python here. Type Python. If I say enter, right, Python version that we have installed will be displayed and the Python interpreter. Python 3.12 is the Python version, right? And Python interpreter, 3 arrow symbol, right? Now you can type any valid Python statements here. You can interact with Python. Python supports interactive mode. Means we can interact with Python statement by statement. Any valid statements you can type and check, right? 25 into 32, the output. X as 10, Y as 4. What is X, Y? What is X plus Y? X into Y, right? X square, 10 square. X equal to Ajay. Y equal to Kumar. X plus Y means Ajay Kumar. With to come out of it, right? Yes, Python is installed successfully. It's working, right? Yes, it's working fine. Yes. So if anyone working with the Linux environment using Python, right? So if you want the latest version of Python to be installed in your Linux machine, latest version of Python to be installed in your Linux machine, so you can just everything you need to install from the root user. So say sudo apt -get install apt get installed, right? Python 3.12, right? This command is going to download and install Python within your Linux machine. Okay, now Python execution modes. Python execution modes. Two modes of execution. Two modes of execution. First one, interactive mode. Yes, interactive mode. Second is like batch mode. Interactive mode and batch mode. Interactive mode, just now I was discussing that we can easily interact statement by statement. Here we directly type Python statements. Here we directly type Python statements on the interpreter, and the user can easily interact. And the user can easily interact with Python. And the user can easily interact with Python statement by statement. Yes. The advantage, look, what is the advantage of this? The advantage of interactive mode. If it doesn't know about any Python functionalities, you can type here and check what output it is going to provide to test the functionalities of Python. To test the functionalities of Python. And for learning Python and to learn Python. To test the functionalities of Python and to learn Python. We directly type Python statements on the interpreter and the user can easily interact with statement by statement to test the functionalities of Python for learning Python, right? But this interactive mode can't be used for developing applications using Python. For developing applications, we need to go for batch mode. So here we write set of statements, batch of statements within the editors or IDEs, integrated development environments, right? And save it. Save it by using .py extension. Here we write set of statements within the editors or IDs and save it by using .py extension. Then later submit it to Python. Okay. What are the various editors where we can write the Python code, right? What are the various editors? Various editors where we can write the Python code, right? Within the notepad, right? Within the notepad, you can write within the edit plus VI nano, right? Yes. Within the notepad, edit plus, and within this, these two are for Windows environment. These two are for Linux environment. VI nano. So writing Python statements, Python code and creating a .py using these editors, right? Yes. And using various IDEs for Python, various IDEs, integrated development environment, various IDEs like PyCharm, right? PyDev, Komodo, yes. Spider, Eclipse, Jupyter Notebook, PyCharm, PyDev, Komodo, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, Jupyter Notebook. Among all this, PyCharm is the mostly used, right? Mostly used one. Among all this, right? And we have got VS Code also, right? VS Code. Yes. Among all these IDs, PyCharm is the mostly used IDE. So you may ask why these many IDs for Python? So Python is used for different environments. Different environments use different IDs. So for data science environment, right? Jupyter Notebook is mostly preferred. Spider is preferred. And for big data, Spider is mostly preferred and Jupyter. And for typical web applications, right? PyCharm is mostly preferred and VS Code, right? Yes. Yes. Okay. Developing the first Python application. Using a editor, right? Yes. Developing the first Python application using a editor. Developing the first Python application using the editor, right? Example like Notepad. Open Notepad and type the following Python statements. Yes, open Notepad and type the following Python statements. So up to now, we didn't discuss anything about Python, right? So just I'll take two values, x equal to 10, y equal to 22 values I'll take. I want to perform some kind of addition. I want to perform some kind of arithmetic operations. X plus y, x minus y, x into y, x by y. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, right? Just copy this to a separate notepad file. Copy this to a separate notepad file, right? Yes. Notepad file, right. Within the notepad file, right. File, save. Then ATM batch, I created a separate folder for this batch by the name sample1.py, sample1.py extension, right? Two values performing addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, right? So just I've written this code and save as sample1.py. And now submit this file. And now submit this file. Submit this file, right? Python has. How we are going to submit this file? Go to the command prompt. Yes. Go to the command prompt. Yes. Just say Python and just give the path where the file is available, right? Yes. Within the C drive, right? Just within the C drive, right? Python 8am batch. Python 8am batch, right? And say sample1.py. Yes. So the file in which folder and in which drive, that entire path, right? Say enter. 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, right? Yes. Now submit the file to Python, right? Give the path where the file is available, right? This is what. But here, what is your observation? But here, we are writing the code. We are writing the code at one place. One place means we are writing within the notepad and executing at the other place within the command prompt. We are writing the code at one place and executing at the other place within the command prompt. But to write and execute at the same place. But to write and execute at the same place, right? We have IDLE. To write and execute at the same place, we have IDLE, right? Which comes along with which comes along with Python installation. So, but to write and execute at the same place, we have IDLE, which comes along with Python installation, using which we can write in, okay. Execute at the same place. But to write and execute at the same place, we have IDLE, which comes along with Python installation, using which we can write and execute at the same place. Okay. Okay. So how to work with this ideally? How to work with this ideally, where we can write and execute the code at the same place. Just I am copying the same code, taking two values, performing arithmetic operation. At the bottom search panel, right? Type IDLE. Whenever we install Python, we get this IDLE. Check this. In this way, a Python shell will be open. This is the way, right? Python shell gets open. Or you can just check, or go to the start programs, check where all apps, where your all apps are installed. Check, scroll down. Python 3.12. If you click this Python, the first thing what we see, IDLE, right? Yes, Python 3.12. Click it. Or in the search directly, you can say Python 3.12. Right. So it opens in interactive mode if you want to interact statement by statement, right? Okay. But I want to work with batch mode. File, new file. File, new file, right? Yes. Here itself, I am writing the code. Here itself, we can run or execute the code. Save it. Okay, 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20. So we are writing the code here itself and we are executing the code here itself, right? Yes. So here itself we can write, here itself we can, first we need to save it, file save, then run this code, run module. Okay. Yes, later I discuss about these IDs once we are done with a little bit of technical content IDs like PyCharm, Jupyter, Spider, Anaconda, right? Anaconda distributions, Jupyter and Spider. So just I'll give introduction to Python data types. Python data types and variables. Just I'll take 10 minutes more. Python data types and variables. See this, every organization, right? Use case, every organization use case has got data and operations. Data represented, right? Data represented using data type and variables. Every organization use case has got data and operations, data represented using data type and variables. Data represented using data types and variables. Operations represented using functions. Operations represented using functions. Okay. So if you take any organization, it has got data and operations. For example, if you take example of a bank, bank consists of data and operations. Data like customer name, account number, its address, its balance, and operations like withdraw operation, deposit operation, transfer operations, those represented by using functions. Right. Okay. Now to say on this data types and variables, observe this, right? Comparing, okay, Python, right? Comparing C or C++ or Java, comparison with Python, right? Comparison with Python. Python supports dynamic data types. Python supports dynamic data types. It supports dynamic data types. Okay. For example, X value is 10, X is 10. X is 10, right? In other programming like C, C++, Java, compulsory I need to say index y equal to 4.5, I need to say float y. Z equal to hello, I need to say what? String Z. So what type of variable X means int type? What type of variable Y is float type? What variable Z is string type? Yes. What type of variable? X, Y, Z, right? Okay, X is what? Int. Y is what? Float. Z is what? String. But in Python, no need to define this data types. Directly we can say X has 10. Directly we can say Y has 4.5. Z has hello, right? But here, what kind of data type X is means based on this data type, it is integer. Based on this data type, it is float. Based on this data type, it is string. But what kind of variable X is here in Python? Means what value you have assigned to it. Based on the value assigned, the variable X will be created dynamically during runtime. So there is a function given by Python, type of X. What is the type? Int type. Why it is int? Because you have assigned a integer value. Type of Y is what type? Float type. Why it is float? Because you have assigned a float value. Type of Z is what type? String type. Type of X is int. Type of Y is float. Type of Z is string. So based upon the value assigned, the variables are created dynamically, right? That's why we call dynamic data types. To see more on this, right? Just observe these cases. I'll discuss some cases right here, right? Case one, try to understand this. What happens internally whenever we are creating some variables? So whenever we say X equal to 10, internally one object is going to get created with value 10 with some address. The address will be given to X. Here three things you need to observe. So here, okay, what X is storing? Don't say X storing 10. X stores the address. X stores the address. Whenever I say print X, right? Prints the content at that address. Prints the content. It goes print X means it goes to this address and prints the content whatever present at that. Prints the content at that address. What is that? 10. Print ID of X. Prints the address of X. Prints the address of X. Address of X means 103070, right? Yes. There is ID function given by Python to returns the address of X. And one more thing, print type of X. Prints the type of X means prints the data type of X. Prints the data type of X. Data type is what type? Int type. So printing the content, printing the address, printing the type. Understood, right? How to print the content of a variable, how to print the address of a variable, how to print the type of a variable. Now observe this case too, right? I'll be just discussing 4 cases. Try to understand this. Case 2. Now from here onwards, I want the sessions to be interactive. Everyone, you can try to unmute yourself and try to give your responses through voice or through chat panel. You can just give a response in the chat or through directly you can unmute and you can just directly respond. X equal to 10. X value is 10. Y is 20. How many objects will be created? Everyone try to answer. X is 10. Y is 20. How many objects? X is 10 and Y is 20. How many objects will be created? For X equal to 10, one object with value 10 with some address. Y equal to 20 means one more object will be created with value 20. X is 10, right? Y is 20, yes, it prints this address. So here try to answer what is print x here. Everyone try to answer what is print x here. Print x means goes to this address and prints the content at that address. Means where exactly it is stored in the memory, that address will be printed. Address of x, everyone. ID of x, address of x. Unmute yourself and try to give your responses, right? Through voice or through chat. One 103070. Type of x. Integer type. Print y. One 104090. Type of y will be what type? Integer type. Yes, two different variables x and y, two different values with two different objects with two different addresses. Two different variables with two different values with two different objects with two different addresses. Okay, now observe this case 3. X value is 10, x is 20. X is 10, y also 10. Now try to answer here. How many objects will be created? Everyone, try to answer. X is 10 and y is 10. How many objects will be created?
Two.
Observe carefully here, right? Only one object is created. The address is given to x. Y equal to 10 means here two objects not created. So y equal to 10 means before creating object for y, it checks if any object with value 10, if it is already available. If it is already available, if already available, right, this address will be given to y. Yes, x value is 10, y is 10. So only one object. So don't think like x is 10, y is 10, z also 10. Three objects with value 10 won't be created. Only one object. Its address will be given to x, y, and z. So what is your observation? Okay. If x value is 10, y is 20, z is 30, how many objects will be created? If x is 10, y is 20, z 30. If x is 10, y is 20, z 30. How many objects? Three objects, right? Yes. If the values are different, multiple objects. If the values are same, only one object. So x, y, and z, they are going to share the same content. They are going to share the same address. Print x, print y, and print z. The contents are same. Even the addresses also same, right? Address of x equal to address of y. and address of Z. Yes, that is case 3. Case 4 you observe, right? I'll take 2 more minutes. Case 4, right? Case 4, right? Yes. X value is 10. Here X and X only. Previously XY values, right? Now X and X. How many objects will be created here? Y X is 20. One more object with 20 will be created. X is 10, X is 20, X is 10 and 20, right? One zero three zero 104090. Now, if I say up to X fine, okay, 10 will one value, 21 value. Print X means what is the X value it prints? 10 or 20 or both. Print X means what it prints? 10 or 20 or both. Yes. Print X means what is the X value it prints? Always it prints the latest value, right? It will print the latest value. Your salary last year, 50,000. Your salary this year, 80,000. Print salary means 80,000 will be printed. Here also X value was 10 previously. Now X is 20. The latest value it prints. Address of X. This one, the latest one will be printed. What happens to the previous one means once this is created, this gets removed. It gets removed. Okay. Understood all these 4 cases, everyone? Any queries in these 4 cases? In the case 1, right? Print X, address of X, type of X. Case 2. 2 different variables with 2 different values, 2 different objects with 2 different addresses. Case 3. X is 10, Y is 10, Z is 10. The contents are same, the addresses also same. Case 4, right? Yes. If X value is 10, X is 20, the previous X gets removed, means X can store only one address. Only one, right? Fine. So more discussion I'll be discussing tomorrow. Tomorrow, Saturday, right? So actually, I'll be busy with the weekend classes, but still we'll try to have a session, right? Tomorrow we'll try to have a session as a continuation. Tomorrow, yes, instead of 8 o'clock, we'll have class at 8:30 tomorrow, right? So just join the class tomorrow at 8:30 using the same link there. Using the same link, right? To see more on this. And tomorrow you can attend the session more to see on this, but tomorrow only you can attend, but the next session after tomorrow, the link will be changing. You need to get enrolled, right? Yes. Tomorrow also we'll see more on this Python, but after tomorrow's class, next class will be at Monday. Monday, the link is going to change. Okay. So this is 1 second there. Just 1 second. I'll show you the course content once again. Course content. Okay, you can see the course content in the chart panel, right? Yes. In the chart panel, you can see in the chart. If you see in the chart panel, the course content link, the payments details link, everything is provided. The previous video, if you have got the previous session videos. Okay, course content link you can check. Okay, so this you can see like You can compare this course content with any other training sites. We'll be discussing in brief Python basics, Python operations, operators in Python, Python IDEs, flow control statements, looping statements, strings in Python, collections, lists, list indexing, list slicing, list functions, nested lists, right? And Python tuples, sets, dictionaries, functions, modules in Python, packages, errors and exceptions, file handling, right? Object-oriented programming concepts, right? Regular expressions, database connectivity, and Python date and time module, OS module, different models related to different environments, advanced concepts like iterator, generator, closures, decorators, graphic programming, Excel workbook, and data analytics, and introduction to data science. Python pandas in brief, Python numpy model in brief, and matplotlib model for plotting. So these 30 topics, which includes Python core advanced and application oriented models. Apart from these, people who go for full stack, right? So Django framework in brief, applications creations, installations, Django project architecture, Django views, Django templates, admin models. Yes, all this. And UI technologies, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, everything in brief, right? Yes. So Python core advanced and application oriented models. So 70 hours, nearly like 2 months, 2.5 months it takes. The fee structure is just 5,000 for this only Python. And people who wants full stack Python, who want to become full stack web developer, right? So for those, along with Python, web development technologies will be discussed, like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Apart from this, right, Django framework will be discussed. Django framework. Yes, within 15 to 20 applications I'll be showing you, right? With that, you will get a great command on this application programming. And apart from this, REST APIs, right? REST API. Plus a project. For all this, it takes 50 hours, right? 50 hours. Yes, this 70 and 50, 120 hours. So this Python takes 2 months, this takes 2 months, 4 months. You want to go parallelly also, Monday to Friday, you can go with Python. Saturdays and Sundays, you can go with these things. So for this 50 hours, the fee is 7K. If you go separately, 5K and 7K, it will be like 12K. But as a single total, as a package, if you are paying it in a single attempt, it's 10K, right? Yes. So the offerings will be, you'll be getting the recorded video of the session every day. Class notes, assignments and tasks, and a WhatsApp group will be created. Any queries from your side, anyone?
So do you take the Python design patterns, sir?
Python?
Design patterns.
Python design patterns, no, here this it is not included.
Okay.
So here, okay, um, the batch timing, let me be clear about the batch timing before you go with the payments. So first 1 week, 10 days, it will be at 8 a.m. Later it starts at 7 a.m. Yes. So is Windows 7 computer is helpful for Python coding? Yes, Python can be installed in any system, Windows 7, 8, or anything, right? But Windows 7, don't go with Python 3.12. Windows 7, right? If you're going with Windows 7, go with Python 3.8. So clearly it is saying, right? Whenever you go to this Python.org website. Yes. You go to this python.org website. Yes. So clearly it is saying, if you go to the downloads folder in python.org, what it is saying here? Note, it has Python 3.9 cannot be used from Python 3.9 cannot be installed on Windows 7 or earlier, right? Yes. So recursions that will be discussed, right? As recursions, all this will be discussed. Yes. Okay, you can see the course content, right? We are discussing in brief, right? About this. So nearly I'm spending 70 hours on this Python, right? You can just compare this syllabus with any other training sites. We will be discussing lot different types of modules related to different domains like data science, big data, OS, graphics, databases, regular expressions, all this are going to be covered. So tomorrow at 8:30, you can follow the same link to see more on this. But okay, fine. Any other queries? Yes. Yeah. If I'm done with your queries, so I'll sign off for now. Meet you tomorrow at 8:30, not 8 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, fine. Thank you all for your time. Thank you. Meet you tomorrow.